Welcome everyone to the 60th episode of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi podcast. I'm your co-host, Darth Salim.
And I am your main host, the Artificial Dragon. And welcome everybody to, as Hannah said before, the 60th episode of a podcast. And we're doing a very special episode, or I should say a special tribute episode. For any of you that are long followers of a channel, a tragedy had happened for both me and Hannah. This will be a tribute for one of our closest fans, Irk the Turtle, who's been a loyal supporter of a podcast and a very, very dear friend to us, who had passed away recently.
He passed away March 16th.
Yeah. We won't get too much into details, but he passed away due to a blood clotting issue, and
He passed away due to a blood clot.
yeah, he passed way too soon, and it affected us greatly, which is why we had to take a little bit of a break. It affected both me and Hannah. Don't mean to get very emotional, but thank you, Irk the Turtle, for influencing us, for loving the content that me and Hannah have made, and for supporting us through the endeavors we have been through for the past 2 years. Thank you for your support and love.
There's so many other things that I could say, but... We'll if you want to make a tribute to, like, the memory thing, that the memorial.
Yeah.
It'll be put in the description.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put his obituary in the description for everybody to pass the kind word along. He I am yet to do one myself, but I went to the Lantern Festival down in Surprise yesterday. I'll probably put some pictures up in the video, but I added a couple of podcast related stuff, and I added Irk the Turtle on the lamp that I made and put it out on the lake so that he could live on for everybody to know.
And I think I'll include a picture of I'll send you a picture to include of my tattoo that I got in honor of him.
Yeah.
Just a small turtle with a shamrock, so he's my lucky turtle.
Yeah, he is.
He'll always be a part of me.
Yeah, he'll be a part of the Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi community. He's
He'll be very missed.
He will be missed.
He is missed.
Yeah, there will be not a soul quite like him out there that I know personally.
Ready to get the other announcements out of the way?
Yeah, so for everybody that watched the last episode of the Jar Jar Binks episode, our Discord is now open to the public, is no longer restricted to just the patrons who support us. You can still support us on Patreon, but the Discord is available for everybody. Everybody could come in, chat with us, share Star Wars memes, talk Star Wars lore, or even share some pictures on things that you love. Like one of our oldest friends recently immigrated to our Discord server, and shout out to Brit Bricks, who really loves Legos. Britain Bricks, yeah. A dear old
friend.
Love you,
Sean.
Yeah, love you, Sean. Thank you for embracing the Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi podcast. And it's available for everybody. Those who support us on Patreon, you will get special privileges such as voting rights on future episode topics. Of course, the Patreon art pieces, which will always come in every month. But since I'm thinking about it already, this month's Patreon art pieces, I'm going to share them with you real quickly, Hannah. And I'm just going to
Okay.
go through them for dramatic effect. Where are they?
To say we got 2 this month.
Yeah, we got 2. I'm kind of catching up with. We've been doing a lot of female art pieces, so I think it's time to appeal to the others.
About damn time we represent the men here.
Yeah, and if we got a 2 combo, or technically a free combo. We got Shirtless, Clone Troopers, and Darth Revan, which I will put for you for your approval, Hannah.
In what chat?
The Cam Mayonnaise Killer Jedi chat. There we go.
Okay. Love the thumbnail.
Yeah.
The clothes look okay. Revan looks pretty badass.
Yeah, Revan looks pretty badass.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
It's simp approved.
It's simp approved. Yeah, we got the Clone Troopers and Revan. Tried to lean a little bit in Keanu Reeves' physique for Revan because he's a popular model for people to apply Revan to. But I think he looks pretty cool with his abs down there.
Revan would be the perfect fan cast for Keanu Reeves would be the perfect fan cast for Revan.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, going back in with the Patreon art pieces, I am sort of leaning to a new artist this month on forward. So doing a lot of experimenting this year. So this will be exciting for the community and myself, Hannah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. So
who doesn't love?
Gotta appreciate the simness, Hannah. But anyway,
Always.
Yeah, before I forget, I'll do a quick shout out to the highest tier Patreons who are now the counselors. Shout out to White Wolves.
Counselors.
Yeah, counselors. The council will decide your fate. Anyway, we got White Wolves, Cameron Lee, Dr. Emboss, Gomez, and Tristan H. As per usual, everybody, thank you for supporting the podcast for the past 2 years. And I'm looking forward to the content we make from this day on forward.
Yep.
But anyway, we all... yeah.
Hey, support my blog.
Support Hannah's blog. I know it's been a little bit slow on your side recently, but, shit happens as we have spoken in this thumbnail so far. I mean, in the intro.
Yes.
But anywho, Hannah, this, as we mentioned before, this will be a little tribute video for...
maybe if I get more questions, I'll be inspired.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, anyway, today it will be, as we mentioned before, a little tribute for our buddy Erk the Turtle, who, he was a really huge fan of...
otherwise known as... He went by Erk the Turtle, but his name was Eric Holland.
That is correct. And he has been a huge fan of the witches of Dathomir. Like, he's made a lot of fan art of them, of all the clans. He would obsess with them. It wasn't even funny.
Not only fan art, but just fanon lore about the witches of Dathomir. I mean, there was so much that he just put into the campaign, that the one-on-one campaign that he and I had together. It was called Child of Dathomir.
Yeah. And you'll never get to
I'll talk about that more in the episode.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about our experiences with with the lovely planet of witches. I know a lot of you viewers might be questioning, wait a second, didn't I already do this kind of episode? Well, yes, that is about the witches of Dathomir, not Dathomir as a whole. If you want to watch that episode, go to the witches of Dathomir episode, which is like, what, a year or so old?
Over to almost closer to when we actually started.
Yeah.
Kit was still with us.
Yeah, Kit was still us. Rest in peace. Don't worry, he's still alive. But we miss you, buddy. We miss you.
Hey, maybe we could bring him back as a guest again.
Maybe that would be actually kind of fun. But yeah, we will be talking about the legendary planet of Dathomir, aka the Rancor planet and the planet of the witches.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So,
Courtship of Princess Leia ready to go to cover this shit.
You got your additional side notes, and I got my entire wall of text related to Dathomir and its wildlife. So let's go ahead and get right into it without further delay. So Dathomir is a planet, obviously in the Outer Rim territories, within the Quili sector, which also there's a couple of other planets within the Quili sector, but it also contains the planet of Cathar, which is the homeworld of the Cathar race.
Gee, no shit.
Yeah, I do.
Just like Mandalore of the Mandalorians. Their leader being Mandalore.
Yeah, I just find that absolutely hilarious that the system that holds the witches of Dathomir also holds the go-to cat people or horse people, however you want to look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Dathomir is 10,460 kilometers in diameter, so it's slightly smaller than Earth, which is 12,756 kilometers in diameter. It has a 24-hour day and night cycle, very similar to Earth, and it has an orbital period of 491 days compared to Earth's 365 days. So its days are a little bit longer compared to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And as we covered in the Witches of Dathomir episode, Dathomir has a mixture of different types of terrain. With it includes everything from forests, canyons, caves, mountains, jungles, swamps, oceans, and ice caps. So it's very similar to our
deserts.
Yeah. It's very similar to our own Earth. Of course, we all know that in canon, Dathomir always has this very red, very ominous atmosphere to it, but it actually looks fairly normal in Legends if you really look at them side by side.
In Legends, when it's mentioned in Courtship, it's portrayed as just a very beautiful planet.
Yeah, it's a very pretty world, and then in Legends, it's a very ominous looking world. I mean,
in canon.
Well, yeah, in canon. Sorry, I kind of got them mixed up a little bit. In Legends, it's beautiful. In canon, it's ominous looking. I don't know why anybody would want to visit Dathomir in canon, but I guess it's beautiful in its own sense. Of course you would. Of course you would, Hannah. But let me see, where was I? Most descriptions of a world, yeah, like you said, it's a very beautiful world. And of course we know it's infamous as being the homeworld of the Night Sisters and the Sith apprentice of Darth Maul, who is spoilers, the son of Mother Talzin.
I think everyone knows that.
Well, yeah.
You don't, you're living under a fucking rock.
Which is also kind of interesting because originally, I believe Maul came from the Zabrak homeworld of Iridonia, but they retconned it to him being from the Night Brothers of Dathomir, but semantics, that's for a different episode. And then,
that's not what semantics means, but anyway.
So Dathomir has 4 moons, one of which is the 4th moon of Kratos, which is notable for its red soil, which hits several deposits of very valuable minerals such as neutronium, almite, xerostrum, and durasteel. Most of these are very valuable, which is why one of the reasons one of the empires, the Galactic Empire, decided to colonize it as a mining planet.
Mm-hmm.
While the world itself is invaluable in the same way as planets like Coruscant or Odoran, it's a native population are more tribal than anything else. They don't exactly have a unified government, so to speak, but it's because of that very tribal society that makes it formidable, because it is home to many Force-sensitive organizations, not just the Night Sisters, but also other witch clans of Dathomir.
Yes, I will happily describe those when we get later on in the episode.
Yeah. It's also one of those worlds that is extremely powerful in the Force. It's kind of a balance between both the light and the dark side, so it's kind of like Dagobah in that sort of sense. Maybe a little bit of Typhon if you think about it.
A bit, I can see that.
Yeah. But
it's like what we said in the witches episode.
Yeah.
They use the Force in such a different way from dark and light.
Yeah.
It's their own way they use the Force.
Yeah.
Which is so unique, and I love it.
Yeah, they treat the Force as magic or using magical ichor compared to, I guess it's like a more physical manifestation of the Force instead of a invisible manifestation that the Jedi and the Sith use. Yeah, it's so unique.
I still like it. I still like it a lot.
Yeah, it definitely makes Dathomir and its witches stand out more as unique Force organizations.
At least in canon, they use ichor, but with legends that I've seen in courtship, they sing their spells.
Interesting. So they actually use spells and legends. That's actually pretty cool.
They do.
Yeah. And then Dathomir has also hosted several academies from both the Sith and the Jedi. At one point...
Not surprising.
Yeah, because that's a lot of Force sensitives that you gotta recruit into your ranks. Well, let me see. Dathomir currently has a population of 5,200, where other estimates are 8,000, and 97% of that population was human, and the remaining 3% being other races, which I find kind of interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that mainly witches and Zabraks would make up the population.
I think it's also the fact that this is the old legends side of Dathomir's population, where it's all like, oh, the humans are the majority of the population, and now we just accept those humans as humans/Zabrak hybrids.
Okay.
But yeah, the main species that lives on Dathomir, or I guess adopted main species, would be the Dathomirians, which are a hybrid of Zabrak and humans, while there are others that are just pure humans and pure Zabrak. So, kind of
it's a mix.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mix. And as we know in the past, Dathomir was originally meant to be a penal colony, so it makes sense that there would be a myriad of other races that managed to stick out, so to speak.
That they are in a prison.
Yeah, but they managed to hold on for a little bit, but obviously the humans of the Zabrak won out a majority.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. As we know, there have been previous other races that called Dathomir their home, with the reptilian race being the Kui, which eventually progressed back into the Qua, as you recall from our ancient species episode.
I kind of remember the Qua.
Yeah, the Kui are
They're weird looking.
Yeah, the Kui are like 7-foot blue dinosaur fuckers that were responsible for unintentionally creating the Infinite Empire because they're benevolent. Oh no, we gave Insight of the Force to a cannibalistic race. Crap.
Good lord. Night. Sorry, that was my mother.
Yeah. And then in canon, there is another previously known native race called the Frumpraf, which are described as snake-like people that possess 6 arms and were exiled away from their homeworld by the Dathomirians.
Did not know about that.
Yeah, they have. When I was doing research, it was just a brief little mention of them. They like appeared in like a novel or two, but I just think it's interesting that it seems like the original inhabitants of Dathomir are a reptile of some sort.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Um, of course, in the ancient past of Dathomir, it was once the capital of Aqui Holdings and the hub of their Infinity Gate network. Think of Dathomir as initially this world that. So you're familiar enough with the Stargate franchise, right?
No.
Okay, so I'm a little bit fuzzy on Stargate myself, but of course we know the iconic image of that giant portal that goes to anywhere in the galaxy. Imagine Dathomir as the main transport hub to the entirety of the galaxy for the Queeb Holdings.
Okay.
And ultimately, the Kui would deteriorate from their modern forms, become the Kwa, leaving most of their relics behind in the form of star temples, which were guarded by genetically modified worms. And that is in legends. In canon, Dathomir became the throne world of a Zevonian sage who decided to, go to the darker aspects of the Force and had a civil war with his other fellow Zevonian priests. And that's where his main tomb is. And one of the main reasons why Dathomir is so fucked up is because there was a civil war that went on in the ancient past.
Yes.
Yeah. But let me see. And then at some point, there were some human clans on Dathomir that had a tribal-like society and even developed a symbiotic relationship with Rancors in the same way the modern witches would.
Yes, a few handfuls of different clans have relationships with Rancors.
Yeah, of course, not all witches of Dathomir have a relationship with Rancors, but we'll get into the Rancors in a little bit. But I just find it interesting that there was a previous civilization that resembled the witches of Dathomir before the actual witches came into being, which I find really fascinating.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then one notable empire that came to rule Dathomir was what is called the Phaeacian Empire. I'm sure you would pronounce it better than I do since you have the courtship of Princess Leia with you. But it's spelled Paecian.
Type it out for me.
Yeah, I got you. Fam. P. There we go.
Paecian Empire.
Paecian Empire, yeah. So that was one of the first empires that came to rule Dathomir in the ancient past.
I don't remember. I don't think I remember hearing, because I listened originally to the audiobook of Courtship. I don't remember hearing about this empire.
I remember the source.
I might need to read it.
Yeah, because I remember the one source that they appeared in was the courtship of Princess Leia, but maybe it was just mentioned in passing and you forgot about it. I'm not too sure though.
I might have just forgot. I need to reread this book.
But yeah, this empire hailed from a planet of the same name, and while it collapsed many centuries before the inception of the witches, its language would become prominent, and it was always spoken on Dathomir to this very day by the witches of Dathomir.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then Dathomir would be briefly under the control of a Brotherhood of Darkness, that Sith faction that Darth Bane extincted into oblivion, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then after, I think, 300 years after the extinction of the Sith, which was 600 years before the Battle of Yavin, Dathomir would be converted into a penal colony for use by the Galactic Republic, where they would banish their worst criminals, like the British Empire did with Australia so long ago. Yep. And then...
I actually mentioned that in the famous folk song, an Irish folk song.
Yep.
The Fields of Athenry.
Yeah, I do like how I always giggle to myself and I call Dathomir Space Australia.
It basically is Space Australia.
Pretty much. And then, of course, the most famous prisoner that was sent to Dathomir would be the rogue Jedi Knight Ayla, or however you pronounce it, and
Oh yeah.
Alia, the Jedi Knight of Alia. And she would be the one to found a matriarchal society, which, as we all know, would be the Witches of Dathomir.
Basically, she was the quote-unquote mother of the witches.
Pretty much. And of course,
she was the first great mother.
Yeah, she was the first great mother. And of course, we already covered this in the Witches of Dathomir episode, where each clan...
I know, but I still love them.
Yeah, they are so cool, and I would love it if each clan got expanded more, especially the Blue Coral Divers clan. Something about water.
The Blue Coral Divers do need to be expanded on.
Yeah.
But we are going to get a little bit more on the Night Sisters with the upcoming Tales of the Sith.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, Matriarchal Society. During the last decades of the Galactic Republic, the Night Sisters would become prominent, with one of their previous rulers being Mother Zalem, who had grander ambitions to unite the warring clans, styling herself as the Queen of the Night Sisters. She would actually stumble upon one of the Star Temples and attempt to unlock its secrets, which unintentionally resulted in the destruction of another world called Uva. This obviously caught the attention of the Jedi Council, who actually sent a young Quinlan Vos to investigate the planet of Dathomir.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's a nice little story. It's one of those old Dark Horse comics. I gotta get around to reading one of these days. But yeah, a young Quinlan Vos went to Dathomir and with the help of Zalem's daughter, Rosalia, they were able to kill and stop her.
Rosli.
Yeah, Rosli, sorry. Also, gotta point out, Rosli looks so hot.
She is so fucking gorgeous, and first Eric story, or Irk.
Yeah.
I'm calling him Eric.
Yeah.
In the Children of Dathomir, or Child of Dathomir campaign, Rosli was one of my character Kalara's friends.
Yeah.
And she greatly respected her.
Yeah.
But Eric made a little twist and made her get her grandmother or great mother gets Zarion's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait till we get Zarion.
Oh, get Zarion. That's a whole can of worms because yeah, well anyway. And then after after the death of Zalon, her successor would actually be good old Mother Talzin.
Nice.
Yeah, and
everyone who's seen the Clone Wars knows how that ended.
Yeah, Mother Talzin is officially the second most powerful Force user in the entirety of the galaxy.
And she's so goddamn cool.
Yeah, she is cool. I know Irk is a huge simp for Mother Talzin. But
they can miss him.
Yeah, I know, me too. But all right, before I mention another turtle anytime soon, so Mother Talzin, Mother Zalem would kind of lead the Night Sisters into a unified force, and hopefully as a empire that would go away from Dathomir and conquer the Jedi. Mother Talzin had a similar idea, but from a different approach, so to speak. She would transform the Night Sisters into a bunch of mercenaries and have them go across the galaxy and work for people for monetary gain and everything.
Okay.
So, for a good while, during the last decade of the Galactic Republic, the Night Sisters would be remembered more as a band of magical mercenaries that would use their powers for the highest bidder and all that.
Oh, so that's probably why Ventress was sold as a slave.
Yep, because, you gotta use your sisters for monetary gain and all that.
Yup.
And then Mother Talzin, even though it would probably be kind of demeaning to sell your services out to a anybody who isn't female to the wider galaxy. It would actually expand the Night Sisters' gaze because no longer are they as suspended in the on the world of Dathomir and are actually going around the galaxy, exploring new cultures and all that stuff. So, in a sense, they were able to go off and conquer the stars, so to speak.
So to speak.
Yeah. However, though, the Clone Wars happened, and we all know where that leads.
Cluster fuck.
Cluster fuck. And, of course, a certain cyborg general going to Dathomir and crushing the Night Sisters into oblivion.
Although a good amount of people survived.
A good amount of people survived. I swear, the genocide of the Night Sisters of Dathomir has kind of lost his impact in the same way the Great Jedi Purge has.
Oh, well, the Night Sisters are cool characters. They need to keep getting expanded upon.
That is very true. Also, I do want to real quickly mention this because we didn't in the beginning. So looking forward to the Tales of the Empire series that's coming out soon.
I am so fucking excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be expanding more on one of the Night Sister characters from
Morgan Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth, and yeah, Grievous is going to appear, and apparently he's going to be an important part of a Night Sisters mythos, which is pretty goddamn awesome.
No shit.
You know,
go ahead.
You know, there's something to appreciate when you're remembered as the destroyer of a culture. I think Grievous would actually love that.
That's still fucking terrible.
It is, but that's such a great accolade when you say it out loud. Grievous, the destroyer of the Night Sisters, or something along those lines.
Yeah, true.
It is such a badass thing to have under your belt.
I don't know if I've ever told how my Night Sister character survived the massacre.
No, I don't think you did.
No. My character, I made her a scholar start out.
Mm-hmm.
First time ever playing the scholar class. It is such a good fucking class, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's so underappreciated.
And so, going off of scholar, I decided to make her an archivist.
Very cool.
And she was around 13 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when, shit was hitting the fan and Grievous was fucking everything up.
Yep.
Her mentor did a spell that basically, if you've seen what Marin does to Malicos, like dragging him under the ground.
Oh yeah, Terran Malicos. Yeah.
Yes. Basically, it's that, but, she's actually in a cavern under the ground.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So yeah, that's how Kalara survived the massacre. With the knowledge of her people.
Very
Some
cool.
of it. But yeah, another fond story.
It is a very fond story. Of course, General Scar would be proud of his former general.
Oh boy, that'll be fun to talk about.
But yeah, so after the genocide of the Night Sisters, funny enough, I think the genocide of the Night Sisters is also apparent in Legends, but they kind of sweep that under the rug because the Night Sisters are apparent post Galactic Civil War and all that.
Yeah.
But let me...
Their numbers are fewer.
Yeah.
That's a better way to explain it.
Yeah, I could see that being the case, but interestingly enough, during the Great Jedi Purge, it is rumored that many Jedi retreated to Dathomir for refuge from the wrath of the Empire. Case in point, one of those survivors being Jedi Master Terran Malicos.
Yes. And he's a badass too.
Yeah.
He's such a good fucking villain.
Yeah, he is such a cool character. I still need to get around to playing Jedi Fallen Order. All of those games are really good. Thank you, DICE.
I do too. if I could tell another campaign story.
Sure, go for it.
In Child of Dathomir, Malicos was actually revealed to have survived, made it to Sangaris Island, which is the home of the Witchblood clan.
Yep.
And is working for Kira with Crimson Dawn.
Of course. Of course he is. I could see that.
And Eric said how these two such manipulating people work together, and they worked so well together.
Yeah.
Just get Kira and Malicos.
Kira and Malicos, so yeah. That is a interesting duo. Just a Wyvern Jedi Master and...
But they're both so manipulative.
That is very true.
That's the
thing. I'm just thinking Darth Maul is in the background being like, yes, I approve of this.
Probably.
Oh, boy. But, yeah, as we all know, Dathomir would be seen as somewhat of a graveyard world. While the Night Sisters are still kind of a prominent force, and of course there are some episodes of Rebels where the gang actually goes to Dathomir, because number one, Maul and Ezra wanted to get some foresight from the witches of Dathomir on what their futures are. Mostly Maul wanted to find Kenobi, and of course Ezra also wanted to find Kenobi.
Okay, I still have yet to watch Rebels.
I know. Point is, Dathomir was visited by the Rebels gang in one episode, but yeah. Mostly though, its population would rebuild, because I think it's only the Night Sisters that got curb stomped into oblivion, while the other witches of Dathomir was like, anyway. Whoa. Oh no, the Night Sisters are dead. Anyway.
Definitely the Singing Mountain Clan were like, ha, fuck you guys.
Yeah, the Singing Mountain Clan are probably the second most popular witches of Dathomir. Doesn't make them any less explored, but they're still pretty cool.
They are briefly explored in Courtship.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
We'll get into that.
Which is very unfortunate, because their outfits look so cool.
They are so cool.
Yeah, they are. But anyway, where was I? Okay, I lost track. The Night Sisters were still a prominent force in the galaxy, and the Empire saw fit to establish a garrison on the world to mostly keep its population in check. But the Night Sisters, led by our good old mother, Gevzerian, is that how you pronounce her? Gevzerian, because I remember pronouncing her as Gevzerian. Because I remember in the past I pronounced her as Gevzerian.
Yeah.
But yeah, she would actually broker an alliance with the Imperials, though secretly the Night Sisters were slowly corrupting the resident Imperials at that garrison and used the complex for themselves to exercise their own deepest desires and torturing a lot of the prisoners and all that stuff.
Yup.
And then when loyalist Imperial forces figured out what was going on, there was a little civil war that commenced between the I wouldn't say brainwashed, I guess seduced Imperials and the loyalist Imperials.
Mm-hmm.
And then but eventually the Night Sisters were rooted out, and Palpatine was all like, yeah, I'm not going to give these witches any other chances. Hey, Captain Zinj, you want to orbitally bombard this planet? And Zinj was like, sure. Also, before you at me, I swear to God, I looked through numerous YouTube videos. Everybody pronounces his name the same way, which is Warlord Zinj. So don't at me, Hannah.
I have heard it in the Courtship of Princess Leia audiobook as Zinja.
Zinja, I know.
Zinja.
I know that's what the audiobook pronounced it as, but every single fucking YouTube video I ever watch where he appears in, it's always Zinj, not Zinja, it's Zinj.
But put yellow text here. It is spelled Z-I, where is it? Z-S-I-N-J.
Yeah, it's a weird name. It's a very weird name.
is so fucking hard to pronounce. No one can do it.
But a majority of YouTube videos I ever watch or listen to, they pronounce it as Zinj, not Zinja.
Jinja, I think.
Zinja. Yeah, so.
Oh my fucking god.
So don't add me, Hannah.
No one come actually me in the comments.
But anyway, don't get triggered if I am pronouncing him as Zinj from now on, because that's
It's
one I've been
fine.
exposed to. But anyway, of course, Warlord, he wasn't called Warlord then. He was mostly a captain, and he orbitally bombarded the Night Sisters into oblivion, as we all know.
Yeah.
So the extra oof, we got Grievous curb stomping them, and then we got Captain Zinj bringing them the extra oomph.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually, the Empire would actually quarantine the world. And it would be actually forbidden for any Imperial forces to step foot on Dathomir. And a force of 2 Star Destroyers would serve as a blockade at all times, along with a bunch of orbital night cloaks, which, if you recall from our super weapons episode, are basically those satellite dishes that block the sunlight from reaching the planet below.
They cover that in Courtship, but I didn't know. Hell, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
I barely even remember that being mentioned.
Yeah, the orbital night cloak is probably one of the more interesting super weapons, because it's not a super laser. But ultimately, those can be easily destroyed. If you destroy one of the space stations, the entire thing collapses.
It's just like how Anakin and Obi-Wan took out the Iego planetary system.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I can see the parallels with that now, both with the Death Star and how the laser grid works, and the night cloaks being connected. Yeah, that's a very good comparison.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think I found this other definition that kind of paints that sort of mentality, which is the term I remember someone calling it would be the what was it? The crap. The
Don't hurt yourself.
I know. The necromancer effect, which is, you know, necromancers revive zombies, make them undead servants and all that. If you take out the necromancer, then all of their undead servants fall. It's that sort of perspective on the night cloaks.
Yeah.
But let me see. Past that, Zinj, for his part, was promoted to Admiral and would actually become a warlord of Aquili sector. And it would eventually be liberated by the combined forces of the New Republic and the Hapen fleet that defeated Warlord Zinj, as covered in the courtship of Princess Leia.
Yep.
Also, I know we have a certain Discord user that wants us to talk about warlords, Imperial warlords, in a future episode, but yes, Warlord Zinj has his own empire, which is pretty awesome. I believe Dathomir is his capital, so to speak, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zinj is an interesting fella.
Funny thing about how the characters actually got to Dathomir.
Yeah.
We need to do an actual book club reading of this. But Han won it in a game of, I think, Sabacc.
Of course he did.
And yeah, he's just like, I own this planet now. Dude, that's an Imperial territory.
I don't care. I'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good book, but Han is just so out of character.
Yeah.
There's one specific part that everyone critiques, and it's just like, I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta listen to Courtship of Princess Leia one of these days.
I can lend you the book.
That would be appreciated, Hannah. And then, of course, Dathomir kind of has a close relationship with the Hapes Consortium because, you know, both of them are matriarchal societies. And I believe one of the major Night Sister characters actually becomes a bride to the Hapen Prince.
No.
Who was it?
She's not a Night Sister.
Oh, it's
frankly, okay. The Queen Mother of the time, Ta'achum, Prince Isolder's mother, did not like the witches. She thought they were too primitive, especially because the Hapes are high-tech worlds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And when Isolder wants to marry Tenennial Joe, she's like, fuck no, you're supposed to marry a princess. Isolder says, but technically she is a princess.
Yeah.
She's like, no.
Oh, boy.
They'll get married anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe their daughter features in the new Jedi Order series.
Oh, yeah, she does. She's such a cool character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you might be happy to know, Hannah. Well, I'm not sure if you would be happy from this announcement, but Dathomir would become an obvious target of our good old buddies, the Yuzhang Vong, when they invaded the galaxy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But, Hannah, surprisingly, the witches became a massive pain in their side, being on one of the few worlds that could never be truly conquered by the Yuzhang Vong.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, for perspective, Coruscant itself, which is the galactic capital of the galaxy, was conquered in like 3 waves of Yuzhang Vong forces.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dathomir really sticking it out to the Yuzhang Vong with their witches, which I think is pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
Yeah. And then, of course, we do get previous visits on Dathomir by Luke Skywalker and all that. I think a bunch of Hapan males go to Dathomir and create their own clan. Which I think is pretty interesting. And then, of course, yeah, we already covered all that in the Witches of Dathomir episode. And one of those 2 clans actually united and became a new clan altogether.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. And then we already talked a little bit about Dathomir and its history. Let's go to the one that you love covering the most, Hannah, and we will be covering its wildlife.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the obvious first one is the fucking Rancors.
Yeah, we'll be covering the Rancors lastly, because I do want to cover the other animals that appear on Dathomir. The first one that we'll cover that mostly appears in the Jedi Fallen Order series would be the Chirodactyl, which is a giant bat.
Chirodactyl.
Yeah, the Chirodactyl, which is a giant bat-like creature.
Interesting story I have about these.
Yeah.
Kalara's apprentice, Nia, had her throat torn out by one of these, but survived.
That's miraculous.
Hey, she survived. Her throat wasn't torn out, but it was scarred.
Yeah.
But yeah, she survived and crawled all the way back to Nox City. It was like, holy shit, yeah, you're my apprentice now.
Yeah.
You're a badass.
Yeah, there would be a named Chirodactyl, going by the name of Gorgora, which is a larger member of the species, and it actually earned a reputation amongst the local inhabitants. It was usually formed as a rite of passage for a tribe of Night Brothers.
Nice.
Yeah, it would be like the ultimate challenge. Hey, can you survive this giant bat creature? If you do, you become a fully fledged warrior, that sort of thing.
Cool.
And I'm not sure if his next creature was covered by Urk with his campaign, but the next creature would be the artery worms.
I don't think so.
Yeah. The artery worms are a very bad bunch. Basically, the artery worms are a small worm-like creature that are used by the Night Sisters as a form of torture, which either involved force feeding or injecting the victim with liquid that contained the worm. And you want to know what the worm does?
What?
It will begin burrowing into the host's veins, turning them into, quote, molten fire.
Ew.
Yeah, and it would begin digesting the victim from the inside out.
Oof.
Yeah, it would actually be a kind of a rite of passage for a Night Sister to have an artery worm in their bodies.
Never knew that.
Yeah, the Night Sisters are kind of hardcore. They usually only last a day of this sort of torture before the artery worm naturally dies inside of their body.
Jeez.
But they would use this as a form of torture on other people because, interestingly, the only way you could kill an artery worm is if you inject the victim with a potion full of the Night Sister's blood. So, yeah, apparently something about the blood of a Night Sister is what is toxic to the artery worm.
It could be the ichor.
It could be, yeah. I just think it's kind of hardcore that the Night Sisters would willingly subject themselves to this thing.
They're metal as fuck.
They are metal as fuck, and rip to the poor bastard that the Night Sisters put this thing inside of.
Yup.
And then, of course, we all know that Dathomir is famous for its spiders, so I won't put them in the chat for you, but we have the Baneback spider, which is a massive species. They are capable of spitting poisonous saliva. They actually appear in the Fallen Order game. The Night Brothers...
I've heard of them before.
Yeah. The Night Brothers are famous for domesticating these spiders, by the way.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Gotta give credit to the Night Brothers. Of course, we also have its larger cousin called the Gaping Spiders, which is the species of spiders that the spider clan of Dathomir worships.
Yeah, the Spider Clan was a fun topic to go over in Child of Dathomir.
Yeah, the Spider Clan. I also like how the Spider Clan are so feral that both the Singing Mountain Clan and the Night Sisters absolutely despise them.
Well, yeah, how do you think my character felt as a Night Sister having a Spider Clan slave?
Very true, Hannah.
Slave then husband.
Yeah. So of course, spiders are a very important part of Dathomir and its culture, especially with the Spider Clan. But a lot of these other creatures that I'll be telling you don't have images to them, so unfortunately, you'll have to leave that to your imagination. But the next creature that I will be covering is what is called a drabin. And don't worry, I'm going to be putting in the spelling of it in the chat real quickly. Drebin. They are described as large horned creatures that are on one end, they are known to prey on rancors.
Huh.
On the other hand, according to studies by the New Republic, they are instead quarries of rancors.
Interesting. Two contradictory statements.
I do like to think that I don't know, it's kind of a weird situation because at one point they are large enough to kill rancors, but at the same time not. I'm thinking it's basically a difference between an adult specimen and a young specimen.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking because it's two polar opposite descriptions with a drabin. They are one of the several major predators on Dathomir that invoke fear among the other species of Dathomir. By the way, since we're talking about D&D stuff, this was actually the creature that the Queen Mother transforms into.
Oh.
Yeah.
That boss fight video is coming soon.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, the drabin in my campaign is described as a giant centipede-like creature.
Oh, so that's what she was.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, she was, I think the drabin in the lore of the Night Locust is one of the more respected creatures of their clan and everything.
I like that little detail.
Yeah.
It feels like every clan has an animal that they revere and respect.
Yeah, we got the Rancors with the Singing Mountain and kind of the Night Sisters, and then of course we got the Qua.
Yeah.
And the next creature is what is called a Night Dog, which also appears in the Fallen Order story game. Sorry.
Okay.
So the Night Dog, it kind of looks like a smaller subspecies of a Rancor if you look at it.
Yeah, it just got some weird looking horns.
Yeah, it's got a lot of
And
horns over its body.
okay, I could see it kind of looking like a Rancor.
Yeah, there's not too much information on this. Well, let me actually see. There's two different variants. There's the Alpha Nidic, and then there's the Lesser Nidic, which is like the smaller species and the larger species on Dathomir and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, they are commonly referred to as the Scourge of Dathomir. But anyway.
Rancors could probably fuck them up easily.
Obviously the Rancors are the top dogs around here on Dathomir, but that's beside the point. And then, of course, the most famous / controversial one. Do you know that ravens are native to Dathomir?
I think Isaac said, or not Isaac, Eric said that, but I can't remember. Because the only time we used ravens in the campaign was to send messages between clans.
Yeah. Yeah, ravens are canonically native to Dathomir, and they're commonly one of the animals that would be used for a talisman of transformation.
Talismans of transformations were so cool.
Yeah, by the way, if you if you investigated the corpse of a queen mother, she had a talisman of transformation in the form of that mask.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I think it was okay, to be fair, we were all tired.
It was a very long boss fight, I'll give you that.
We were all tired and ready to go home and go to bed.
Still, it was a great boss fight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the next creature would be called the Rock Dragon. Always love how there's always some sort of dragon on any one of these worlds, aside from the Crypt Dragon on Tatooine.
Uh-huh.
And the Rock Dragon would be described as being large enough. Well, not exactly large enough. They actually possess a natural camouflage, allowing them to blend with their surroundings like a chameleon would. The Rock Dragons had egg layers, are cold-blooded, which required them to nest around their eggs to keep them warm. Their diet consisted of insects and plants. But one threatened, they have a poison from their stinger that is, quote, strong enough to kill a fully grown Rancor.
Damn.
Yeah, these things are like kind of tiny. It doesn't specify how tiny they are, but I imagine these things as like the poison dart frogs of Dathomir.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, they're called rock dragons, but they're a little tiny dude. But anyway, I think you also recall another creature called the Scissor Fist, which is the inspiration of the Scissor Fist clan.
Yep.
Which I personally described as basically a mantis shrimp, but bigger.
Yeah, they're huge and they're creepy.
Yeah, they are. I would love to see a a portrayal of a lot of these creatures of Dathomir because they're so cool.
Yeah, they are. They're awesome.
Yeah. And then, fortunately, there is an image of this guy. We have what is called the Sprintile, which is basically a Dathomir version of a crocodile.
That is so scary looking.
Oh, yes, it is. It's got more fucking quills popping out of its back and everything.
Yep, Space Australia.
Space Australia, crikey, we even got our own crocodiles down here. You just put in forward my Steve Irwin impression. Rest in peace. And then we have Saurian, which I did mention in the Witches of Dathomir episode, which are also called the Great Dragons. So we do have a giant dragon on Dathomir. But they're only mentioned in, I believe, the Book of a Sith in the Night Sister section.
Okay.
And they're basically the inspiration of a powerful spell called the Scream of a Saurian, which allowed its caster to reproduce the Great Dragon's hunting call.
Nice.
So essentially like the Night Sister version of Thunderwave or something.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And then, let me see. And then the next one, the next creature, there's not a clear depiction of it. I'm just going to send you a sketch of it. There is a creature called the Sleeper, which it's basically described as this giant mollusk-like creature that lives underneath the Night Sister HQ on Dathomir. This is the only existing image of it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So the Sleeper is an ancient creature that has 2 large lavender eyes, a carapace-covered body, antennae, and 4 appendages. It exists in a subterranean pool below the Night Sister later. It could only emerge when an aspiring Night Sister summoned it from the depths. And a little bit of a spoiler, when the Jedi Knight Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress went to Dathomir to learn the secrets of the dark side, they would actually encounter the Sleeper while being trained to assassinate Count Dooku later down the line.
Cool. Kalara actually encountered the Sleeper.
Oh, did she now?
She did. It was basically a giant mantis shrimp looking like thing.
Yeah.
And its blood had healing properties.
Oh yeah, it does say that it was a necessary ingredient for the water of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I do wish they they dived more, figuratively and literally dived more into the Sleeper and what it actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's that, and then there is this next creature called the Veritor Lizard, which is very creepy looking. Give me a minute. There we go.
Okay.
And it's described as a very aggressive and venomous reptilian. It could be, it says it's mostly native to Dantooine, but it could also be found on Dathomir.
Okay.
And here's another image of a Night Sister keeping one as a pet, and it looks like a giant Komodo dragon as well.
It does look like a giant Komodo dragon.
Yes, it does. I think that's so cool.
I like the Night Sister art too.
Yeah, the Night Sisters have a very cool aesthetic to them too.
Yes, they do.
And then the next one is what is called the Verse Sunk. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat. It's a very creepy looking tentacle fucker.
Ew.
Yeah, there's not too much known on this creature. It barely has a paragraph in the Wookiee article I'm looking at.
Okay.
But okay, one last one before we go on to the big Rancor. We have Wolfaworm, which are responsible for guarding the Star Tempers that the Kui left behind.
Yeah, they're mentioned in Courtship as well. They make like leather out of the hide.
Yeah, and here's one that Quinlan Vos is trying to attack.
Cool.
Yeah, they kind of give me Dune vibes, if I'm going to be completely honest.
A little bit.
A little bit, and a little bit of Tremors as well. And then
oh yeah, they do look like the Tremors monsters.
Oh yeah, they do. The Graboids, yeah.
Yes.
And then of course, Hannah, we will be leading up to the big, most popular creature on Dathomir, the Rancor.
Yay.
Yeah, Dathomir is also famous for being the homeworld of the Rancor. Funny enough, when the Rakata eventually arrived on Dathomir, they would actually find the Rancor and take it along with them as a curiosity, which is one of the main reasons why they're all over the galaxy.
That's actually pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. The Rancors are described as a large carnivorous reptile mammal. So they're kind of like a mammal-like reptile. So they look like giant lizards, but they're actually warm-blooded.
Yeah, they have babies.
Yeah, oh, by the way, I gotta show you this image of a mother Rancor with her 2 babies.
Oh, that's cute.
It is so cute. Rancor mothers are really, really good mothers, and that's one
Yes,
of
they are.
yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why the Rancors and the Witches of Dathomir have such a close relationship, because they have, ironically enough, they have very similar cultures to each other. Like the Rancors have
They're matriarchal as well.
yeah, they are very matriarchal, and the Rancor was domesticated by the Witches of Dathomir for that very reason, which was, I want to point out, a very difficult task, even for a Force sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was a dumb joke that Eric and I made. But with our game, it was like jokes became real, or got added in some way.
Yeah.
I had told him once about, my brother being made fun of because or not being made fun of, but being teased.
Yeah.
Because he looked like the baby from Dinosaurs.
Of course.
I showed that to Eric, and he said, "That's what a baby Rancor looks like now." And Kalara got a baby Rancor.
Of course.
And, yeah, so new personal headcanon, baby Rancors look like the baby from Dinosaurs.
That's adorable. I'm the baby, gotta love
Not
me.
the mama!
Not the mama. But yeah, another interesting origin story that I think is really cool is that, so the Rancors actually have their own language that they speak amongst each other, and it's kind of understood by the Witches of Dathomir, if I remember correctly. It's kind of interesting that the Rancors have their own culture, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, according to a tradition amongst the Rancors, this symbiosis began when a warrior woman met and healed an injured female. By mounting the Rancor's back, her sharper eyesight enabled it to hunt better prey during the day, so that it grew in size and its status became a mighty herd mother. So it's a very obvious symbiotic relationship with the Witches of Dathomir having a better perception check on the Rancors, and the Rancor's obvious side provide them with protection.
That is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. One of the most endearing parts of Dathomir and the Witches of Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
But let me see. Yeah, the Rancors are pretty much like elephants in our own modern world.
Basically, but they're a lot smarter.
Yeah, they are a lot smarter. They even have their own Rancor graveyard on Dathomir.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
it did get mentioned in the campaign.
Yeah, it did. And of course, outside of Dathomir, there are actually a crap ton of subspecies of Rancors. It's not even funny. Of course, we know of a regular Rancor that we know and love. And then, of course, there's this subspecies called the Swamp Rancor, which I'll put in the chat real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Swamp Rancor because it was actually adapted to swim in swamps and everything. You could find them on Tef and Felucia.
Okay.
And then, let me see if I could find some other interesting subspecies of Rancor. Where are you? Crap. And of course, Rancors are also a very popular subject for Sith alchemy, as you saw with one of the other Sith spawn from our Sith spawn episode, which is the Crystallids.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the glowing Rancors that Palpatine loves to keep as pets.
Of course.
Yeah, and also the flying Rancor that the Jedi Order would make every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have Oh, here we go. We have the Bull Rancor, which is basically, as the title entails, a much more larger and aggressive Rancor with tusks.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And then,
looks like a Balrog,
yeah, it
just
kind of
not on
does.
fire.
Yeah, it kind of does look like a Balrog, doesn't it? That's interesting.
Just not on fire.
Yeah. Of course, we have the Pygmy Rancor. Let's see if I could throw it over to you.
He's so tiny.
He's so tiny.
He's so tiny. I want one.
I'm sure you do.
I would keep him as a pet.
Yeah, I think it's like a couple feet taller than a regular person, but yeah, it looks adorable.
That's it. That is cool.
Yeah. Let me see, and then there's the we got the I already showed you the jungle rancor. And of course, there's another subspecies called the Tyrant Rancor, which is apparently the largest subspecies of Rancor ever discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we don't have a picture of that, but...
Damn it.
I know, a lot of disappointment over here. But let me see if I can throw any others at you. Oh, here we go. The winged Rancor I mentioned earlier, which is actually called the Rancor Dragon. There we go.
That is so weird looking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spew more images of witches of Dathomir riding Rancors because that's always fun to see.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Rancors being ridden by witches is always a fun time.
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah, there's just something that I absolutely love, the Rancors. Let's see, there's also a second relationship, that a symbiotic relationship that the Rancors have, with a species of bird called the gibbet bird. Basically, the gibbet bird just provide a form of dental hygiene for the Rancors.
It's exactly what some kind of birds do with crocodiles, I think.
Pretty much, in Africa and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty much just, Star Wars elephants, but these elephants can kick ass.
Yeah.
I can imagine like Rancors would be used in the ancient days of Dathomir as war Rancors with armor and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a species of Rancor found on Felucia that is actually used by the Felucians as war Rancors, and they have tribal paint all over them, as you see in this picture here.
The paint makes them look so much scarier, but that is so cool.
It is so cool. And of course, we gotta... Oh, this is a gnarly looking one. Gotta pass over the undead Rancor over here.
Interesting.
And the undead Rancor would be created through the Blackwing virus, the zombie virus.
Okay.
And I already told you about the crystallids. Let me see. Oh, that is also very gnarly. Here's a mutant Rancor. You'll expect nightmare fuel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to talk about for Dathomir and its local wildlife.
Okay.
But yeah, we could go ahead and talk about our personal experiences in D&D and our opinions on Dathomir. Anything you want to indulge for your campaign of what was it? The Child of Dathomir, you said it was?
Yes.
Want to share some interesting stories, Hannah?
Well, there's not a lot I can remember off the top of my head, but do you want to know how many slaves, then eventually husbands, Kalara had up until the quote-unquote end of the campaign?
Oh boy. I'm gonna guess 15?
No.
How much?
No, she had... Give me 1 second. Need to look and
Okay.
actually see. I think it was 7.
7 slaves. Okay.
I think one of my favorite ones was Volk, who was a blue coral diver.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, take Darth Maul and turn him blue.
Of course, of course.
And they all had such different personalities too.
Yeah. You got
I'm
yourself
already
a
getting teary looking at this.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, let's see. There was, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7.
Yeah, you had
Um,
a good amount of slaves.
yeah, and they were a handful of them were Dathomir and Zabrak
Mm-hmm.
men, but 2 of them were actually aliens.
Yeah.
Uh, Norax was a Cathar, but a Dathomirian Cathar,
Yep.
and Kar was a Chiss.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, I remember that because I was joking to you. He's going to betray you and you don't know when it's going to happen.
He did hide that he was a spy,
Yep,
but he
yep.
did not want to go back. So.
Yeah, I had a suspicion. He's there's an imposter among us.
Yeah, he fell in love, but
Of course. Of course.
it makes me sad that that story won't be able to be finished, you know?
Yeah, I'll never be able to start the campaign that he prepared with me, so that'll be a little bit sad on my part too.
Why don't you tell us about that?
So, just
It's not
to
exactly Dathomir related, but
not Dathomir related, but so Urk wanted to. This is kind of a little behind the scenes thing for everybody interested, but Urk the Turtle wanted to start a little series that kind of ties in with each podcast episode, and he wanted to. The setting would mainly take place during the Jedi Order, which is the pre-Republic era, where the Rakata were out and about and all that fun stuff before the Sith ever existed. But it was mostly focused on the Jedi Order as well as the Typhon system and all that. And I created a character named Vicar Cinera, who is a Gand Findsman who became a part of a Jedi Order and is currently serving as a scavenger. We would explore different relics, explore different alien cultures and all that, but I have a character sheet already and it's currently in front of me right now, but we never got started with that campaign. So yeah, kind of a little behind the scenes thing. Urg the Turtle, miss you dearly, and I hope you're having a rest in peace, buddy. Rest in peace.
I hope he's having a good time up there with my dad and my Pepe.
Yeah, I hope he is too. Lopez also having a good time up there with them.
Oh, with how much Eric liked animals, he would have loved being with Lopez.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that is don't mean to end on a teary note, but that is our episode.
This is our tribute to the memory of Urk the Turtle.
Yeah, and I'll probably post fan images of the numerous clans that he drew and all of that fun stuff because he always loved his fan depictions. But yeah, he's got that unique art style too, which I am going to miss.
Oh, I also want to mention, for those of you who have the Webtoon app, Eric's comic, what is it called? Let me pull it up. I have it. It's just called Urk the Turtle.
Yep.
He's on Webtoon. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to peer into... yeah, go on, Hannah.
If you want to look at his art and his, just his artwork and posthumously support him.
Yeah.
I think that would make him very happy.
Yeah, and get a nice little touch on his brand of humor, which is always a fun time. Yeah. But yeah, that's our that's our episode of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi, or in Viz's case, oh no, death by Snoo Snoo.
Death by Snoo Snoo. Oh dear Lord.
You were the one who pulled that up when we were talking about the witches of Dathomir.
I don't remember. That was so early on in the when we started this.
Yeah. I surprise myself with how much I remember on the previous episodes of a podcast. It's kind of insane.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tribute and learned something about Dathomir and learned a little bit more about our community, both me and Hannah, and our longtime fan Urk the Turtle. And support his stuff. And yeah, he'll always live on in our hearts.
Absolutely.
But yeah, before I succumb into despair much more, I guess...
what are we going to cover this episode?
Well, I think we need to catch up on our previous subject before the unfortunate news came along. Yeah, we will be covering after Dathomir. We will be resuming our previous episode, which is the Eternal Empire.
About damn time.
Yeah, I have a thumbnail ready to go and everything. I'm not going to put it to waste.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it'll be a good episode.
Yeah, it'll be a fairly good episode. But thank you everybody for listening to this episode of a podcast and for hearing our story on Urk the Turtle, which this video is a tribute to. And hope you love this episode. Support us when you can. Come join our little community on Discord. And happy to have this community slowly growing for us, especially since we're at 750 subscribers right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's nice seeing the community grow.
Yeah, and I'm forever thankful for Urk the Turtle, Hannah, and all the people that we made friends with along the way.
Exactly.
Anyway, you got any closing statements, Anna?
No, because I'm scared I'm gonna cry again.
That's fair. But yeah, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. May the force be with you. This is the way. And I'm gonna pronounce another saying that our dear Urk the Turtle has said. Reality is whatever we want it to be.
See you next time.
Adios.
Bye-bye.